What's up guys, this is Lichtsang here. Welcome to my Jinx Miracle deck guide. This deck could be a good pick if you want to get a metal card at a regional qualifier, a tournament like Bologna or Las Vegas or Lille in April. Or if you want to play Jinx at your locals and have some success at the local or skirmish level, this could also be a fun pick. If you just want to skip to the decklist, use the timestamp that I will add in the description, because I will be rambling for 1 or 2 minutes before I go into the actual decklist. I want to give you a disclaimer. I'm not a Jinx main. I did consider this deck because I thought it's a strong pick for the regional qualifier in Bologna that gives me a good chance for a metal card. But can also compete at a high level. But then I changed my opinion and I will be playing another deck. So just to let you know, I don't have a ton of practice with Jinx Miracle. I have a lot of practice with Miracle decks in general. So I think in this video I will focus on the Miracle aspect. But the actual deck list is far away from perfect. This is just meant to be an introduction into the topic, and you can use the decklist as a starting point and then refine it yourself. Okay, I will start with the Miracle package in general for those of you who don't really know what the Miracle package is. If you already know that, just as I said, use the timestamp, skip ahead. So what is the Miracle deck? The Miracle deck is a package that you can use from set 2 on. In Riftbound Spiritforged, there are a lot of good new cards that make this strategy viable. You've got Ezreal, who is one of the centerpieces of the deck. And you've got kind of like an Exodia of 3 cards. So you want the Seal of Discord, Ezreal, and Call Shot early on. Because the Seal will provide you with purple power. Ezreal, next to being able to discard a card and then draw 2 cards, really important is his effect. Optional additional costs you pay cost 1 energy or 1 power less. So if you repeat Call Shot will only cost 1 purple power. And you get the really powerful effect for 0 energy and 1 purple power to look at the top 2 cards of your main deck, draw 1 and recycle the other, and do that 2 times. So let's imagine a turn where you play a Seal into Ezreal into Call Shot, or you can even ignore the Seal. Let's assume you have enough purple power. You just play Ezreal and then you play Call Shot. Ezreal provides you with a value of 1 card. So you play a card and then you discard 1 to draw 2. So in itself, that's already a +1 card-wise that you get. And if you then cast Call Shot, you have another +1. So if you count your resources, you got 2 new cards by playing those 2 cards, if that makes sense. And then the longer strategy is you want to fill your trash with at least 10 cards, and then your Rasa costs 1 power and 0 energy. So as you can see, this deck can work with small amounts of energy. You can do a lot of stuff with Call Shot and Rasa just costing 1 purple power and no energy if you play Rasa at the correct time. And Stack Deck additionally helps you to find the centerpieces that you are looking for. Traveling Merchant is an amazing turn 1 play for this deck. You can fill your trash. It helps you to find those important cards that you need for your strategy. Scrap Heap is amazing because you discard regularly with Ezreal and Traveling Merchant. And even if you don't have them in your opening hand and you kind of brick draw Scrap Heap, you should be able to find Ezreal or Traveling Merchant. And even with other units, Scrap Heap is useful because you will always in the Miracle decks play Zorn Warrants, and this will be an easy outlet for the Scrap Heap. Next, we've got Fizz and Last Rites. They turn this deck into a crazy miracle toolbox because your whole trash will be available to you, at least the spells and units in your trash will be available to you via Fizz and Last Rites. So if you cast Fizz, you can play a spell with energy cost no more than 3, ignoring its energy cost. You still pay the power, but since you usually only play spells that cost 3 energy or less, Fizz enables you to just pick a spell from your trash, play it, pay power, which is another one of those +1 situations that you have in this deck. Last Rites is crazy in the late game. Let's say you have a full trash, you equip this for 1 power and you have to recycle 2 cards from your trash. And when you conquer or hold, you may play a unit from your trash. So every time you are able to activate this effect, it further manifests your victory. So if you are able to use Last Rites effect a few times, you should win the game. And it's especially crazy with Raza in the trash. You can play Raza for 1 power if the trash is full, and then if you have 2 Razas, you can just like trade Raza into opponent's units, conquer, play Raza again, and so on and so forth. I think you get the idea. And since all those key cards all use purple power, the three Seal of Discord are really important in this deck. Alright, let's get to the actual Jinx version of this deck. As I said, this is far from a perfect deck list. This is just meant to be a starting point for you to start your own Jinx Miracle journey. So we start off with the Jinx Champion unit. You don't use her a lot, but in the situations where you choose to use her, she can be pretty good because it's always great in this game, in the current state of the game, to have an accelerated unit. And with Jinx Demolitionist, you always have access to an accelerated unit. She has Assault 2, so she's a fast threat. And she has the cost of discarding 2 when you play her. In this deck, this is not actually, or can be, okay, because you have the Jinx Legend ability. At the start of your beginning phase, draw 1 if you have 1 of your cards in your hand. So even if you have to discard your last 2 cards, next turn you will be able to draw 1 via Jinx and draw 1 for turn, so you will be back at 2 cards in your hand. Alright. I will not really discuss the Miracle package because I've explained it a few minutes ago, so I will now discuss the card choices other than the Miracle package itself. So for removal, you've got a lot of one-offs. Miracle decks enable you to play a lot of one-offs because you have so much card draw and card selection that you are usually able to find those one-offs pretty reliably. You've got Falling Star. I don't think you want to play more than 1, even though it's a great card. Being able to deal 3 damage twice for 2 energy is insane in a lot of spots. The 2 power cost is pretty heavy, especially in this deck, because 2 red power is just a heavy blow for this deck. You are able to play Rebuke. Paying purple power is a bit better because you've got the 3 seals. So let's say you've got 1 seal up, you just have to recycle 1 of your purple runes. 3 Fight or Flight, because it's such a flexible card. I don't think I have to explain why Fight or Flight is good, but especially in this deck, being able to hide a card is quite nice because even though even in spots where you run out of energy, you can just use your seal to hide Fight or Flight, and that can be game winning. Also for spots where you hold 1 battlefield, your opponent is conquering the other battlefield, and threatens to take the last point via holding it, you can back one of your Razas into the base and then attack with a ready Raza, which is also a good opportunity. One acceptable losses, I'm not 100% sure on that. It can be good as an emergency way to use a scrap heap, fill your trash. Generally in this deck, cards that don't cost a lot of energy are nice, and it's also quite nice against the meta decks that use gear, like let's say a Draven with a spinning axe, Irelia with Guardian Angel, and so on and so forth. You can also sacrifice your gold, or maybe you don't control a gear. Those would be the spots where you could use acceptable losses. The good thing with this deck is you can, with the Miracle package, you can play wilder cards or cards that are good in specific spots, because you are able to just discard them in case you don't need them. Bushwack is really important because you might have a turn where you play Bushwack, then play 3 Raza for 3 power and 0 energy. They are all ready, and you go for a big swing to kill your opponent's units and conquer the battlefields. Yes, we discussed those. You could cut Scrap Heap to 2. I'm not sure whether you should run 3 in this deck. And then the battlefields are really important. Zone Warrens, as I said, that's a must-have battlefield in my opinion for this deck. You fill your trash, you are able to search for the key pieces that you need. Then Minefield, in my opinion, is also really important to play this battlefield, because it gives you a big advantage, and it usually doesn't give your opponent an advantage, which is precisely what you want from your battlefields. You don't want a battlefield that both players can benefit from. I don't think Candlelit Sanctum is actually the correct pick for the third battlefield. Yeah, you can just experiment for yourself which battlefield you want to use as your third choice. Obelisk could be okay. Sigil of the Storm could be okay to slow your opponents down. And there should be a few other choices that might be good. Alright, we discussed the Merchant, we discussed Ezreal and Fizz. Vi as a one-off is pretty good because your trash will be full, so Vi is usually a big threat attacking your opponent. Treasure Hunter in this version is really important. You would also run it in a Miracle Draven version, but you wouldn't run it in Sivir because you got the Trove thing that is better there. But yeah, just getting that gold, Treasure Hunter or Traveling Merchant as a turn 1 play is really, really good. Then we've got Battering Ram. Battering Ram is also a really good card in this deck. You will have those turns where you play Cold Shot, Seal, Stack Deck, maybe a 2-drop, and then you play Ram for 1 energy. So yeah, pretty good. It can be a bit bricky-ish, but if you have a lot of experience with this deck, you should usually be able to find a line where you can play Ram for 1 or 2 energy. And then 1 Noxus Hopeful. I'm not too sure whether this is a correct pick in this deck. You might be able to find a better alternative. And then we have a heavy purple focus with our runes. We play 8 purple runes and 4 red runes. Maybe you could go for a 7-5 split, but in the games that I played with Jinx Miracle, I always felt like it's really important to hit your purple runes. If you play a 7-5 split, you've got a 4% probability that your 3 first runes will be red, which can be horrible if you want to start off with an Ezreal, as an example. So I feel like you want an 8-4 split, but maybe 7-5 is better. I don't know. For the sideboard, this is also just a starting point, not a perfect sideboard, but I feel like having gear removal against decks like Irelia, Ornn, Fiora, can be pretty important, so we play the Thermal Beam. I personally really like acceptable losses. Some players don't, so yeah, just find what works for you. I feel like in the Miracle decks, you are usually short in energy, so if you are able to trade resources with your opponent for a low energy cost, that's usually good because you've got so much value in this deck that you will usually outvalue your opponent, especially in the Jinx version. Wasting cards like this is not a bad thing to do necessarily. Then we've got Brynn here against decks like Aurelia that play a lot of spells in your turn. Another Falling Star if you really want to go heavy on removal. You could also play the Jinx signature spell, the Super Mega Death Rocket. I'm not sure whether that's the correct name. You could think about that because it also enables some nice discard possibilities. Hard bargain, maybe against something like Kai'Sa or Victor. And then Switcheroo should be nice against decks that run bigger units. Alright, now I will jump into some dry gameplay. I will not play against actual opponents, I will just show you how you should pilot this deck, and we can count the turns until we hit the first Rasa. So we start off with Zorn Warrens. Okay, if we go over 10, we start. Okay, so we start the game. Ooh, oh, that's a really good hand. I think in this scenario I'll keep the Treasure Hunter actually, and we really want Ezreal Cold Shot. That's a really good start. Yeah, so obviously those dry runs have a limited. Oh, that's so good. Have a limited validity because obviously your opponent will do stuff and try to interfere with you. But usually in the first turns, that interference will not be that heavy. So we create a gold, we score our first points, and then we've got a Zorn trigger, we easily discard Rebuke here. Alright, and now we will play the Seal, play Ezreal. I think we'll discard Ram. Yeah, to draw 2. Alright, since we've drawn another Ezreal, we can easily wait for the next turn. Oh, this rune is gone with playing it. Alright, we score second point, move back, make gold. Play Cold Shot. Now we are looking for our Razas. Another Seal is actually good. And there's the first Rasa, this is good. Alright, now we just want to fill our trash as much as possible to be able to play the first Rasa. We've got Bushwack in hand, that's nice. I will discard Bushwack since I can play it with Fizz if I want to. And there's another Cold Shot, that's good. Maybe I shouldn't have played it this turn, because we've got so much power available in our next turn. You could have gone for Noxus here. If you would play against a gear deck, obviously you could take acceptable losses here. And then we say go. Alright, so we need 4 more cards to play the Rasa, and we also want to find more Rasa. Play this here maybe. This could be a... Nah, we still need cards in the trash, so... I was thinking about taking Ram here. There you go. Discard scrap heap. All right. And so this is has been a bit of a slow game. So we are able to play Fizz now, play Bushwack from the trash. They enter ready. We might have traded a few units to further fill our trash. Maybe we would have played Fight or Flight, and maybe we would have traded Hopeful, something like that. And then we could play Rasa, and Rasa with the remaining energy and power. I hope that was correct. I hope I still had 3 energy left, but you get the idea. So turn 5, we have 21, 24, 30, 31 power. Obviously, this is not how it will fully work in real game, but this is just meant to give you an idea and to show you the play patterns. We will do this another time and see whether we can get there by turn 4. I think it might have been different if we had started with Traveling Merchant instead of Treasure Hunter. Alright, that's a bit worse. You usually don't want to start with last rights, I feel like. Okay. We roll the dice. Okay, we go second. Draw for turn. Not sure whether I drew for turn last game. Alright, we start off with stack deck. Take the seal. Treasure Hunter, go. We move in here, make gold. We've got a Zorn activation. Discard Vi. It's a bit of a bricky hand. I might just play a Ram in this spot. Move out. Play a seal. Play Fizz. we don't want Rasa because we are far away from hitting 10 in the trash. So we played 1, 2, 3 cards. 4, 5. Move. Alright, lucky scrap heap turn. This is turn 4. Let's see whether we can fill the trash. We need to find call shot. There we go. As you can see, even though we had kind of a bricky start, we are still able to pop off by turn 4. So Rasa costs 3 now. Ram should cost 1. Played call shot, played stack deck, seal. Let's just play a Rasa and a Ram. So by turn 4 we played the first Rasa and we acquired 11, 14, 19, 22, 23, 28, 20, 30 might in total. We've got another Rasa in hand, we've got bushwack, we've got fizz. So next turn we can go fizz into call shot, play bushwack, play Rasa, and yeah, hopefully cycle through the deck to get back our last weights that we had to mulligan. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this little deep dive into the Miracle deck. Let me know in the comments whether you would like to see more Miracle gameplay. Leave a like, leave a subscription, that really motivates me to keep going, and see you next time. Thank you.